So this is problem 3 in the chapter 3 assignment. It is a I'll say more involved weighted mean problem. So let's take a look at this. We have 4 different types of funds. We have a certain number of funds of each type, and we have the total return for each type of fund. So we're asked, using the number of funds as weights, to compute the weighted average total return for these mutual funds. We want this to 2 decimal places. So the first thing I want to do is download the data into Excel. So I've transferred the data, downloaded the data, and you don't see it here, but I clicked on Enable Editing to enable me to manipulate this data. I've identified the number of funds as being the weight value, and our X value, the value that we're interested in calculating the weighted mean for, is the total return. And these total return values have been entered into the spreadsheet as simply real numbers, not converted to decimals. So we want to take the sum of the products of these 2 values. So in each case, we take the weight, multiply it by the X value. I'll copy this equation down to the next 2, and I want the sum of these. Close the parenthesis. Likewise here, I'm going to use the AutoSum function just to make it easier. Take the sum of my weights. My weighted mean then is going to be the sum of the products divided by the sum of the weights. So my weighted mean to 2 decimal places is going to be 7.81. Placing that into the answer box for A and clicking on check my work, the answer is 7.81. Part B is there any difficulty associated with using number of funds as the weights in computing the weighted average total return in Part A? And they want you to discuss that. What else might be used for weights? Well, given this data, there's really not much else you could use other than you could assign weights to this. You'd have to get some other type of data. You might use the cost of the fund. So whatever you want to put in there, it's really just your matter of opinion. There's no one right answer here. I don't tend to grade these. It's just whatever your opinion is. Part C, suppose you invest $10,000 in this group of mutual funds and diversify the investment by placing $2,000 in domestic equity, $4,000 in international equity, $3,000 in specialty stock funds, and $1,000 in hybrid funds. What is the expected return on the portfolio? So the last part of this problem is to determine the expected return from a specific set of investments in these funds. So I reproduced the numbers to give me a different spreadsheet. And I'll be honest, I tried a couple different methods to get at the answer that the author was looking for. But this is what they're saying. They're going to invest $2,000 in domestic equity funds, $4,000 in international equity, 3,000 in international, specialty stock, and then another 1,000 in hybrid funds. Now, to calculate the return in each case, we simply take the return, which, as I said, is input as a whole number, multiply that by the amount invested, and we have to convert the percent return, total return percentage, to a decimal in order to calculate the actual return for that particular investment. And we do that in each case. So the total return, total dollar return we expect is $1,227.30. To calculate the expected return percent, we take that dollar return and divide it by the total investment of $10,000, which gives us 0.12273. So to two decimal places, that would be 12.27%. So calculating the expected return for this $10,000 investment has nothing to do with the weighting, which is what you would think since it was grouped along with this weighting problem in part A. But no, the answer is 12.27. Putting that into the answer box of C and checking. This is the answer that the author was expecting.